Good morning.
Good to see you, man. So wait, you're up in Marin County, right?
Yeah, Lucas Valley. Yeah, this is my dad's spot in Lucas Valley. So
beautiful. I'm sure you see deers.
Yeah, we see a lot of different animals. We got someone mowing their lawn this morning, so it's a little loud, but
okay. I'll let you know if we need to mute, bro. But yeah, that's pretty, man. How big is the house?
It's about 2,400 square feet.
Nice. Is it an Eichler?
It's just a one story, like 3-bed, 2-bath kind of thing. He bought it for like 400,000, like I don't know, I want to say 25 years ago or something like that. So it was a good investment.
Really? I met a guy that bought a house 1989 for like 190 in Danville. 1989. And look at Kevin in Danville. Guess what that house is worth now? It's like 1.8, $2 million. It's crazy.
Yeah, solid.
That American dream. When my grandparents, my Italian grandparents came from New Jersey and New York, my grandfather's brother was associated with the mob and he wanted nothing to do with it. He met my grandmother, who was a little Italian girl from Jersey, from Hoboken, New Jersey. And he said, you know what, I'm going to take you away from this place. They packed up everything they had, all the money that they had saved, and they moved out to Southern California. And he wanted to be a underground pipe layer, and so that's what he did. But they bought a house for $11,650 in a town called Laverne, which is right next to Pomona in Southern California. $11,000, and lived there until my grandfather passed away. He was 99 years old, and my grandmother was 92 years old, and stayed there their whole entire life. Raised all the kids, grandbabies, go there. I remember my cousin falling off the wall, getting stitches on his eye. You'd walk in and the smell of like cheese and sauce and garlic would permeate the house. Old Italian family. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. You walk into an old Italian family, and even if you're not hungry, you're not allowed to say that you are not hungry, right? It's like, here's a plate of food. No, grandma, no. Sit down. You look skinny, right? I swear to God. So my grandma, everything that she did was like a masterpiece in the kitchen. Okay. So I'll tell you this. I don't enjoy cooking, right? And I'm sure some of you do. I'm sure we probably have some chefs on here, because I think we've heard from Sonny before, and Sonny told us he's going to make this beautiful meal. I'm not that person. However, I'm very seasonal with my cooking. The one thing that I do like to make is Italian food. Why? Because when I walk into the house and when I leave and I come back, it smells like my grandma's home, right? And it takes you back to the moments where, like, man, like I remember such good times around the table and sitting, and meatballs and homemade lasagna and sausage and peppers and this whole giant spread. Like Christmas at our house wasn't just, like the basics, or what you think the traditional is. We had those, but then you had the sauce that my grandma took 8 hours to make, and oh my God. So I'm very seasonal with my cooking because of that smell, and it takes me back. And I don't know why I thought about that. Oh, I guess because of Sasha's house. But yeah, I'm a very seasonal cooker. My grandma's meatballs are like this big. I still make those. That recipe's been in our family forever. So maybe around the season, you guys will get some of the meatballs. So we'll go ahead and get started. So good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing? Good to see you. Martinique, I love the hair today.
Thanks. So Tom Ferry reposted me, and I just made a post about it. So I had to put my hair down.
All right. Yeah. Well, we're going to have to talk about that. I want to know all about the session, share insight, because it's like the party on one side,
like fun. And then, yeah.
All right. So why don't we just have you talk about this? I mean, you have a moment and let's talk about that. I mean, that's exciting. So let's hear all about it.
So I've been training or coaching with one of his coaches for the past year. And I think he has a really close relationship with Tom. So he's been talking about him to me. And I just posted that I was enjoying my coaching session with my coach, and I tagged Tom Ferry and he reposted it. So,
beautiful.
Yeah, pretty cool.
All right. So let's just talk. I don't want to take too far back, but like most recently, what's something that you have been diving in on and working heavily on?
Most recently, with my coach, you mean?
Yep.
So he's saying he just is like educating me on EXP and how like many different revenue streams they offer compared to other brokerages. So he's like, you need to utilize and like maximize on all the different revenue streams that they have to offer because other brokerages do not. So
Yeah,
take advantage pretty
good
much.
stuff. I
Yeah.
love that. And anybody that's in the real estate community understands this model and how different it is. And I love that. And we're obviously going to be teaching more about that. We did a session last week when Kenny hopped on talking about your rev share opportunities and agent attraction. But you know, when we first started in this company, we all bought the stocks. Obviously, I put, you know, quite a bit of money into the stocks. And if you guys all have not signed up for your agent equity program, please make sure you do that. And Martinique, since you're on the topic, make sure that you sign up for agent equity. That means on this commission check, you did already?
Yeah.
Cool. Make sure that you guys get that out of the way because it's money that you'll never see, but you'll see it as it grows, right? It's 5% of every single check at a 10% discount. Right now, our stocks are low. They split our stocks. Last year, we were at one time at $160. When I purchased stock with the company, I think it was like at $23, $24. When Kenny bought stock in the company, it was at $8. So even if we're at $40 today, it's still growing. Anytime you split a stock, it's going to take a little bit of time for it to grow, but that's end game for you guys. You know, that's supplemental income. That's an opportunity for you to leverage that money that you have down the road and purchase investment properties or do other things that you want to do in your business and in your life. So I love that you're having that conversation, Martinique, and I think that it's a huge opportunity. So good stuff. So I wanted to go over to Kyle. So Kyle, I love what's happening in the office right now. And here's why. You got Raymond in the office right now. You have Lamont in the office. Who else was there?
Robert.
Okay, cool. So two people that are newer. You know, Raymond's been in the business, been exposed to this environment for a while. Here's what I'm liking, what I'm seeing is that consistency is starting to become like contagious, right? If you look back, and for the people that don't know Kyle and I worked at a different brokerage. I came over, I said, Kyle, we'd love to have your energy here. He ended up making the decision to come over here. The one word that, and for the people that don't know, you may have heard this again, but I'm gonna say it. The one word that I wanted Kyle to focus on was consistency. I said, bro, you have this God-given talent. You have all this energy, this excitement, and you have such a great brand. I was like, what I want to see is consistency from you. Like, what's it going to take? What's holding you back? He's like, I know, man, I'm in it, even on his social. And then, man, he turned a curve. And if you were just meeting Kyle, you would think like, man, this dude has been like this. This is how he has built this business. And Kyle, I just wanted to say, great job, man. And what you're doing in the office and banding people together, that's catching on. And so why don't you talk about that for a minute, man? Because I've seen it's complete transformation over the last 6 months, bro. And I got goosebumps talking about it, man. And this isn't going to be the Kyle show, but I'd be remiss to not talk about this because showing up is fucking half the battle. And when you show up and you immerse yourself in this culture, I promise you, great things will come. So why don't you talk about that for a minute, Kyle?
Yeah, man, I really appreciate it. Yeah, like up until about 3 months ago, I just clicked, you know, you kept telling me quit coming in, quit coming out, and finally just decided to completely immerse myself and use the abilities that I have. And it's definitely paid off. You know, I made like almost 1,000 calls in 1 month and started busting ass and realized that I actually really like doing it. You know, it's actually pretty fun. There's a lot of cool people out there. You get into a lot of cool conversations. You meet a lot of interesting folks, the good ones, the funny ones, the bad ones, whatever it is, you know, you just keep rolling with it. And I was having so much fun with it that I wanted everybody to start doing it because people are so freaked out about cold calls or door knocking and things like that. But it's really fun, you know, and regardless of what you find or what you get, you just make the best out of it. And you never know what opportunities will, you know, come around. So like a couple of weeks ago when I was doing some cold calls, I called this one lady and, you know, she's not selling her house, but we had a good conversation. And it turns out her husband is like a luxury home builder. And then she was like, yeah, we're actually looking for an aggressive agent that's reaching out like this. I'm like, well, there you go. That's what's up. I'll take that all day. So it's, you really just never know what you find. And I just kind of wanted to start sharing that with people and showing them how to do it and get everybody on it because there's business for everybody out there. There's no point in doing all this hush, hush, hide this, or don't tell anyone about that script. That's all kind of bullshit to me. And it's such an old model, an old style. And so, you know, with the cold calling sessions and the role plays on Tuesday with listings, it's just been a lot of fun. And, you know, my business has skyrocketed. I just got another contract yesterday. I'm closing one on the 4th next month. And then I've got my listing is accepting a bunch of offers today. So it's just rolling, you know. So I'm just really excited, really happy, really fortunate, and grateful to be on the team. And just, you know, everybody's kicking ass, and it's just contagious.
Man, and I love that. And I'll tell you what, changing one thing in his career gave him a completely different direction. And we talk about this a lot, you guys, and this goes back to old school Tony Robbins things, millimeter shifts, right? If you make a millimeter shift in your business right now, it will give you a completely different trajectory, right? Here's an example. If my millimeter shift is to make 10 more calls every single day for 5 days a week, right? That's 40 extra calls for the week. And do some simple math for me, Kevin. So if it's 40 for the week, so 40 times 4 equals 160 times 12. That's 1,920 more calls for 1 year. If I was to convert maybe 1%, 2% of those people, what has that done to my bottom line? If I can make 10 extra calls a day, and at the end of the year, I made $20,000, $30,000 extra, or if you got $1 million plus deal, even more than that, like that is a millimeter shift that it didn't take too much out of you. If a millimeter shift for Kyle was saying, you know what, I'm going to get up 2 hours early and I'm going to get my ass to the office and I'm going to be in this office, right? I have to have this discipline because I have all this energy and I might go crazy and go all these other directions. So he honed in on that. He gave himself that goal and that he committed to his commitment, and look what he's done with this business. So my man, really, really great stuff. I'm love seeing what you're doing. And I love that you're leading, and you don't always have to have a title in this business to be a leader. So I encourage you guys, all of you, to step up. If you have an idea, fucking run with it. I'll support you. If you have some craziness, cool, do that shit, because I love that, right? And if it doesn't work, it's okay. We'll try another something, right? I'm all about being a risk taker, doing things that are different, and making it all about you guys, right? It's kind of like the movie Remember the Titans. It's the offensive leaders and the defensive leaders that came out and started running the practice, right? We're going to practice a little different today. We're going to come out the gates a little bit different today. We're going to do things a little bit different. So we are always cool with you guys being leaders within the company, and leading things in your own cool way. Melody's doing that right now. I see people coming together. So do whatever you guys want to do. We'll fully support you. So Kyle, really, really good job. Martinique, I want to give it up to Martinique. Sorry, I was having technical difficulties yesterday and it frustrated the heck out of me because I'm a man of systems. But great job in getting in your first contract with us. And
thank you.
Really, really good job. You know, showing up in a big way, coaching's working for you. So I love it. So I wanted to ask you guys, I was reading something the other night and it says, in the face of adversity, we find ourselves. And that really hit me, right? I came from a really, really tough upbringing, and in the face of adversity, we truly find ourselves. Or in some cases, you know, it really could be detrimental to your life. But I think in this environment, the way that you guys are all wired, I think that you guys feed off of that adversity, and you probably have. So I wanted to ask a couple people in the room today, what is one of your biggest accomplishments in your business career? And it could be in this business or it could be in a previous business, but I want to know, what is one of your biggest accomplishments that you look back like, man, that was something that I did and I created this amazing opportunity for myself. And so I wanted to ask Fred, I know Fred's newer to the group. So Fred, what's one business accomplishment that you look back and you are so proud that you accomplished that?
I guess, well, the first one really was, I was a 19-year-old kid in college, started working for Safeway as a bagger. And, you know, I'm one of those people that, I know you've been talking about consistency, and I feel like I've kind of lost it some, and that's why I'm now with EXP. But, you know, first job, I just always feel like I always want to do more. I always want to be bigger. I always want to be better. I ended up getting, after 3 months of being a bagger, promoted after 3 months, and just kept pushing. I worked in the office for a while. I kept pushing. Another opportunity came up about a year later, and within, you know, I'm like a 21-year-old kid and I'm a manager. You know, so I think I need to almost kind of get back to that and get refocused again, because I know that when I do set goals for myself and really dedicate myself to them, I know that I can accomplish anything. And that's something that I need to really start bringing really back to my real estate career now.
Man, I like that. And you know what, so knowing that, so, you know, it helped me, you guys, like, let's remind Fred of that bagger days, right? Like, Fred, bro, you need to work like you were that bagger and that you're wanting that next step in your career, right? Because I think that's a trigger for you, because you talk about it with so much excitement and you look back like, damn, like, look what I created, right? So we're going to push you, man, because you're right. That consistency is something that could really, really hurt a lot of people in this business. And I've seen that. And I've seen once they turn that switch on, man, great things come. So good stuff. So let's go over to Johnson. Johnson, how about for you, my man? What's been one of your biggest successes in your business life? And Ryan, I got you, bro. 7 days.
Sorry. I think for me it was when COVID happened, I lost my job as a school bus driver. And then instead of like doing nothing and just like sitting on my hands, I kind of like just went out and was like, all right, what am I gonna do to make money, And then I started doing like an eBay business and like OfferUp and like basically all those like third-party apps. And I started like just selling like random like games or something. And like I started hacking and like I was just making a lot of money. I was like, wow, like this is a really big deal for me. Instead of just doing nothing, I really went out and like I was just Googling like, okay, how do I make more money? Just YouTubing stuff. And I was like, man, I made a lot of money so far doing this. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna continue it. But then as like the hype died down, I started making less and less money. So I was like, all right, it's time to move on to the next thing. And I was like, all right, maybe real estate is it.
Wow, good for you, man. Because there was a time that it was really, really scary. I remember when they shut real estate down, I was like, how the heck can you make us non-essential, right? What is one of the best ways to stimulate the economy? And then all the jobs that are associated that are connected to real estate. I was like, it just was mind-boggling. But man, it was scary. It was scary, but the strong people and the innovators found a way, right? And you found a way prior to even coming into real estate. So good job, my man. Great stuff. Cynthia, let's hear from you.
Did you say Cynthia?
I did.
Okay, cool. Learning to say no was huge. I had to fire clients because they wanted to lie and hide things, and the ability to walk away and say, no, I'm not going to sell your gorgeous, expensive ass house because it's not worth my license to lie. That was huge. And then seeing it come on the market, sell way over what I would have expected. It was a hit, but it was a lot of reflection of, I can say no. And this is my business. I get to choose how I run my business. That's been huge. And I've been learning to say no because I'm trying to grow from a place of abundance and not fear. Like there's more out there. There are more listings out there. And so that's where I'm learning. Yeah.
You know what? And I love it. And if you've ever met Cynthia and you see her on these calls, Cynthia has this contagious energy and the smile that can light up the room. But I also know by just having quick interactions with Cynthia, she is a fierce competitor and she's a fierce negotiator, right? She had said this the other day, and I was like, what's one thing that you do with certainty and conviction? She's like, oh, I'm a negotiator, right? And I didn't know that about her. I didn't know how like skilled of a negotiator she is. So Cynthia, I want to ask you a question. Like, when did it change? Like, how did it change for you to say, you know what? Yes, I'll do this, go there. Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Like, when did you finally pull the lever on the train tracks and send it in a different direction? When?
When I got sick from working too much, my body shut down. It would not let me get out of bed. It was just like, no, you're not working 80-hour work weeks anymore. You're not going to do this to yourself. My husband is in sales and he taught me you have to learn how to work smarter. You don't have to work so hard. Just find systems that'll make you work smarter and not harder. And then it was just a mental shift. I mentally told myself I'm going to be a super fierce negotiator for my clients. And it just was from that shift, I tuned into podcasts, I read books, I read articles of this is how I'm going to be this way. And I just immersed myself in it. Like I was saying, immersing yourself. You just have to make that shift. and really key in on it and say, this is who I am. This is how I'm going to be.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. And so, Cynthia, first off, how are you now? How's your health? How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm good. I'm still learning to say no to things. Like this weekend, one of my clients stopped by for Earth Day, and she was like, "Oh, how's?" Because my clients know how hard I work. She's like, "How you been? How's everything going?" And I was like, "Oh, I've been learning to take more breaks." And my husband was like, "Oh, you have? Have you really?" So I'm like, "Okay, I gotta key back in on that." But just yesterday, I took a 2-hour mental health break. It's like you constantly have to be working on yourself and getting this straight. You have to get your head on straight for sure.
Totally. Because then you'll be no good for anybody. You'll be no good. You could make millions of dollars and have a shit life, right? I remember reading something from Tony Robbins, like, what is disease? It's dis-ease, right? It's dis-ease because of all the things that you're doing in your life. You're not focusing, you're not working out, you're not, flushing toxins out of your body, and those things catch up to you. So you have to, if you can't take a 2-hour break or a 2-day break in this business and feel like, oh my God, everything is going to fall apart, then we're doing it wrong. We're doing it wrong. We should be able to say, you know what? Hey, clients, I love you, love you, love you. If you need anything, call my team member, Fred or Kevin. They're going to help you out over the next couple of days. I'm going to be out of pocket for the next couple of days with my family and just spending some downtime. That's okay. That is absolutely okay. And you owe it to yourself. So Cynthia, really great stuff. I didn't know that you had reached that level, and I'm glad that you have your support system at home to really help with that. So really, really good stuff. I love it. So Patrick, let's hear from you. One of your biggest accomplishments, man, in your life and in your career.
I would say the biggest accomplishment that I always keep going back to is I think that on Monday we had talked about that festival that I had done. So immediately after the first year that I had done that, I was co-directing a DIY art space in LA called Think Tank Gallery. And the agreement was my partner was going to handle this event called Break Bread. I was going to take on Night on Broadway. After Night on Broadway finished, I showed up to the gallery for this massive art show we're supposed to have with, like this guy who collaborated with Banksy, this other guy who just blew up. He's now an artist with the Museum of Ice Cream. And nothing was right. Like everything was screwed up. And people were mad at my partner, and I stepped in and I realized immediately, like either I'm going to crumble under the pressure or I'm going to have to be like smooth as butter on top of all this stuff. And so people would walk up to me with panic in their eyes. And I knew that I had to keep my energy centered. I knew I had to be like a really strong pillar. To this day, like my composure then is like my benchmark of where I'm trying to get back to, because I just had, squared it up. And so long story short, we're getting all the building done, all the production done. The doors are opening up for the event, and I'm still like kind of getting the last lights together. And like, the event, the resiliency that I had to perpetuate day after day after already doing this, large festival was the key, because resiliency was what allowed me to finish the job. And then I went and I passed out and went to sleep. Like while people are enjoying the event for the first time. And then within a week, we had been featured in New York Times, Smithsonian, LA Times, LA Weekly, like every possible publication we could have ever imagined. And it was about the resiliency. It was about keeping my composure amidst, relentless chaos. It was about not pointing fingers. It was about just, looking at the task at hand and trying to facilitate as many intelligent solutions as quickly as possible.
Man, I love that. So when you say that trying to get back to, you mean that state of composure? That's the state that you're trying to get back to or strive to get back to?
I was unrattleable. Like people would come to me with a problem, and instead of looking panicked, I would just smile. And they would look at my smile and they'd be like, I think he's got it. I haven't even told him what the problem is, but I know I can trust him with it. And that is a level of composure that, even to this day, like I can hit it a couple of times, but like, I think I just knew in that position that I really had to be a source of tranquility
Yeah.
for a lot of the collaborators we were working with, because there were people who were putting their own, there were people within the network of collaboration that were sort of putting a lot on the line. And so they needed to look at me and see that I had it even before I even heard what the problem was. And so that by far, like that sort of consistent level of just meditative peace in the face of maddening chaos is something that I am still to this day looking to replicate on a consistent level.
Man, I'll tell you what, when we hear you speak, and anytime that you've stepped up in meetings, we do get the sense that I get a sense of composure from you. And so I know that you're like been always chasing. I think that it's there. And if you can create it in one area of your life, I'm sure that you could replicate that in other places of your life. And I know at times you're just trying to learn, you want to get your first contract, but remaining cool, calm, and collected throughout this process, man, even when you haven't got that first deal on the board, I think like that's something that's an innate ability within you, and I think it's still there, right? I 100% believe that it's still there. So, dude, I didn't know all this, man. Really good stuff. I appreciate you sharing. There's Jeff. What's up, Jeff? Yeah, all right, I love that. Look at his hair, man. It's on point. So, Jeff, let's hear from you, my man.
Yeah, so
what office are you in?
Brentwood.
Okay, cool.
Just pulled up, you know what I mean? Beautiful. About to start some music, get ready for the flex meeting. I think my biggest accomplishments in business have came in the face of adversity. So when I was working at Linden Club, had came back from Howard, wasn't able to finish because I didn't have the money to. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get this job at Linden Club. I'm gonna pay to get back on my feet. Blah, 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 goes on. I'm doing very well there. I end up getting let go. And I'm like, shit, I got a baby on the way. What am I gonna do? Like, what is the next step? And then that's where, like, I remember writing Bart home, and my mind was just like, don't forget about that real estate that you said you had a passion for. And I was like, this is the sign. This is the sign to finally hunker down, get my license, study. I got time now. I can go ahead and get my license. And that's where it came from. And then the next time was this COVID. Past this COVID, I was the assistant general manager at In Shape, and I was making solid money, and it wasn't going to go nowhere. They were talking about moving me up to GM. I was one of the fastest to go from the sales position to the assistant general manager position, that it was unheard of. People were like, what did you do? And I was like, I just worked. But as soon as COVID hit and I lost my job, I was like, once again, don't forget about that real estate thing that you got that passion for. And I was like, no, I'm doing this full time. I'm not going back. There's no plan B. There's no other option from here. It's time to go ahead and hunker down and get serious about it. And as soon as I got serious about it, I also started to see that I wasn't in the place that I was going to flourish. And so that's where the universe then led me to Team Fast. And that's been one of my biggest like thankfulness in my career, was the universe showing me, like, you want this passion, I'm going to give it to you, but now you got to go ahead and do the things that you said you were going to do.
Wow. You know what I love? I love the self-talk that I'm hearing. Even his voice tone changed when that person on his shoulder was talking about, hey man, remember that real estate stuff, right? The voice changed, because we all have that inner person. I have it. It's like my own personal internal hype man, right? Like, wait a minute, you can do it. You got this, right? So I love that. And that self-talk that helped get you where you are. And man, I've seen nothing but growth and since you stepped on the scene with us, man. So really good stuff. So Martinique, why don't you take the mic for a second? I know you had some things that you put into the chat here. I didn't get a chance to look at that, but let's hear from you. Wait, hold on. Party. Business. So let's hear from you, Martinique.
I was just saying in the chat that I struggle with saying no to my family. Like, they always are coming to me. I'm the oldest. I'm only the oldest of two, but my husband has younger siblings, and I always get caught up helping them. And I don't know how to say no. I need to work on that. So Jay just sent me an article I need to read up on.
Okay. And let's go back to, because of who you are, right? Who are you? And we talked about this last week. And if who remembers who Martinique is? There's one word that really defines her as a person and in her business. Does anyone remember that word? Starts with an N. Martinique is a nurturer.
Nurturer.
Totally.
Yes, she is a carer. She is a nurturer. It's like, yes, look, I got you, right?
It's bad though. It makes it like a downfall too, because I want to take care of everybody and then I forget about me, you know?
Totally. Wait, what happens when you have 10 clients, right? And they're all wanting to go look at homes, right? And they're going to run you ragged from 8 a.m. in the morning till 8 p.m. at night. It's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So you have to find ways, whether it's that article or telling your family, there's some non-negotiables, right? Hey guys, this is me time. I got to focus on me. I'd love to help you out, but I got to give you a call back tomorrow. Is this 100% urgent? No? Okay. Life and death? No? Okay, cool, sister. I'll call you tomorrow and I'm here for you, but I need my time today.
Yeah.
You have
I
to.
need to try that today. Yesterday, my brother's alternator went out. He's calling me. I'm like, well, call the mechanic. Like, what am I going to do?
I didn't, because, hey, I just had my brakes done. Can I call? So can I call you next time I need my brakes done?
Working on
Yeah,
it.
so being able to say no. Okay, so we'll talk more about that, but tell me about your biggest accomplishment in your life or your business career.
Biggest accomplishment. Well, I am a full-time Social Security Administration employee. I've been there almost 12 years, believe it or not. It's not an accomplishment, but I guess it just shows my commitment to, you know, it's got me 2 houses and vehicles, so I have to be grateful for that. But also just segueing out of that into full-time real estate could be, that'll be my accomplishment. Leaving, I'm going to record putting my 2-week notice in. That's going to be my accomplishment.
Heck yeah, I love it. I love it. I remember Ryan saying he's like, I got a goal, quit my job goal. I was like, okay, cool, man. He's like, he said that. I mean, this is months ago. That's what he's working. I'm going to quit my job. And I've seen so many people, like Jen. Jen was a full-time paralegal working, you know, real estate on the side. Did 7 deals her first year, and then finally said, all right, I'm going to leave that, and then, you know, grew and grew from there. So we love this, and there's great things to come for you, and I think that you have the energy for it. And so good stuff. I appreciate you sharing. And saying no is hard for a lot. I know Jen struggles with that. She wants to take on so much, but I'm like, hey, you got to just turn everyone off. And if you can't hit the Peloton for 2 hours and just tune everybody out and sweat, then yeah, we're doing things wrong, right? So 2 things I wanted to talk about and mention on from my story. So Patrick had mentioned composure, and I thought this was a really, really, you know, cool story to tell. You guys remember when those Napa fires happened? Like, it was craziness up in Sonoma County. I forgot what those were called. I think it was one that was called the Tubbs Fire, and there was another fire up there that it was crazy. I had lived up in Sonoma County, and I had moved over to Vacaville at the time. Well, my buddy said, hey, man, do you want to go with me and give back? And I was like, sure, man. So we went and delivered all kinds of water and supplies, and we went up to the fairgrounds right in Sonoma County, to the huge fairgrounds there. And that's where the Red Cross were housed. So we just pulled up like, hey, can we help? Like, yeah, you have to register for the Red Cross to get one of the jackets, right? It was like a neon vest, and you got your whole badge that said, you know, volunteer for the Red Cross. Well, we're going out there, we're like, just helping wherever we can, lifting this, moving that, helping people to their beds. Like, there was thousands and thousands of people that were displaced throughout this whole entire campground. Well, this kid comes up to me completely frantic, who was an American Red Cross volunteer, official volunteer. And he came up to me, he's like, I can't do it, man. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I can't do it. He's like, people were asking me all these questions. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to stop traffic. I can't stop the traffic. Nobody's listening to me. I was like, all right. He's like, can you help me? I said, give me your vest. He's like, really? I was like, yeah, we'll just meet up in a couple hours and we'll give you your vest back. He said, okay. So he gave me the vest, and he gave me this big old stop sign thing. So I went out there, and as soon as I put that vest on, there was this sense of composure. Like, I have to be here for all these people. And like Patrick was saying, it put me in an instant, like, I got this. People came up to me. I have the vest. Go here. I'm directing little teams to do this. Let's move those books. Let's put this here. Separate those from the new. Let's go over here. Everyone came up to me like I all of a sudden was the manager of the Red Cross, because, like Patrick was saying, there was this sense of like composure that came over me. And I remember the state that I felt in. or I fell into that time, it was like, man, I am here to serve and to give back to everyone, but to help these people that are serving and giving back to everyone, help them keep their mind right. And so that was a huge accomplishment for me. And there was smoke. It looked like Armageddon, and you're breathing in that smoke all day long, but I was there to help. There was a whole section of elderly that they're, the home had almost burnt down, that they had to evacuate. So I just felt like I am here to help and to serve. And I'll tell you what, it was one of the most rewarding times of my career. And it wasn't my career, but something when I look back into being a leader, right? I had to be a leader in that moment in order to help these people that were displaced, that people were crying and lost their stuff. And where do I go? There's like AA meetings happening, and I'm walking my dogs over here. People can't find their beds. The kids can't find my mom. Like, it was complete pandemonium. But putting that vest on, I felt this sense of ease and this sense of composure, and it was a huge milestone for me. I learned a lot about myself, and so Patrick, I appreciate you reminding me of that. Let's go over to PK. PK, let's hear from you. Let's hear about a big accomplishment that you made in your career.
I was so emotional when I heard JP talk about his move to real estate, because I feel like I lived that for so many years. And when it finally happened this year, I was just like, couldn't believe it. Like, I almost cried when I was hearing his kind of transition. And I'll get to that in a second. But I think my biggest accomplishment in my career was back in 2016, 2017, when President Trump put in some, Muslim ban and the travel ban, and he was just putting all these like pressure on immigrants. As an immigrant, I had a moment where I was just so pissed off that I was like, I have to change this. So with a friend, I started a podcast, and what we did was just literally, we reached out to our communities, and every single immigrant entrepreneur that was doing something good in the US, we were talking to, and I was featuring them on my podcast. And I didn't even have any expectations, but 2-3 months into it, it was gaining so much momentum, and people were reaching out to me with just like so much gratitude and saying, that this is inspiring, and this is, exactly what we need to feature more success stories of what immigrants are doing in this country. And it was such a big moment in my life, because it was a simple idea I had, and just putting relentless hours and just working until like 4 a.m. because I had a full-time job, and I was editing everything myself and interviewing every single week, but it was super fulfilling. We did that for, one season. And again, like, this is one of my things. I do something really well for a long time, and then I just stop because I burn myself out. I was so burnt out, and I wasn't ready to quit my job because that was paying me. So I just stopped it. And then I kind of went back to corporate America full time, just like heads down, just doing my job. And, last year, I think what you said was, I was making so much money and like bringing in the biggest deals of our company. And it was just, I was miserable. I was crying. I was so just like unhappy that I remember I had a mental breakdown in the middle of like the pandemic. I was like, I can't do this. Like, this is bullshit. So that's when I just decided, I was like, you know what, like, I don't even care if I have to go and, walk dogs every single day for the next like year or so to make money. Like, I don't want to do this job anymore. And that's when I just started studying and got myself into, real estate. And, back to JP's point, I again found myself in another environment where I was so unhappy. I was not inspired. I just felt like, I was in this box again. And that's when I found you guys. And like, ever since then, it's just like, I know it's been a short, like, few weeks, but it's changed everything for me. Like, my energy, like, I can feel like I'm getting inspired again, and my energy is right. And I want to get back into, 4 years ago when I was doing the podcast, because that's when I was so focused, so high energy, and I was fearless. I did not give a shit about like recording a podcast is like super high pressure because like your voice, you hear yourself talk and you put that shit online and people listen to it. Like that is really high pressure, but I want to get back into it where it's like fearless, just like doing it. And that's where it's like, I feel like I have a little bit of that, you know, I'm still not 100%, but I want to get back to that.
All right. So how many people vote? Obviously not to burn the candle at both ends, but within reason, how many vote that PK should bring back this podcast?
Oh my God.
Right?
Hell yeah. Hell
Yeah. Right?
Do it.
Right. Like I've been telling Jeff, I'm
Go
like,
for it.
People's Podcast, man, you have this deeper meaning. The People's Podcast means something, right? The People's Agent means something. PK, people want to hear your story, and I appreciate you being vulnerable right now and being emotional in this environment. Like people want to hear that, right? And if it's something that people have came to and they're listening, they have an audience, like give them that. Now you have this platform of all these people and all these things that are going on and how we are helping, serving our community and giving back. And now you have this platform and this bigger reach now. Like, man, I'm all for it. I am all for it. I want to see you on this podcast or hear you on this podcast. I want to see Kyle stepping up on Clubhouse and be like, all right, pitch me anything. Like there's so many opportunities. I want to see Patrick's consistent, interviews with people in the industry. Like there's just so much opportunity here, PK. So you got our full support. And I'm glad that you feel like you're loved here because you 100% are. And we love your energy. So let's go, PK. We believe in you. So I appreciate you sharing. So Dewey's on the line. Hey, Dewey, I wanted to go over to you, my man. I don't know if you guys know, but Dewey got engaged over the weekend. So congratulations to Dewey. He forgot his shirt as always. But Dewey, let's hear from you, my man. He's probably working out or feeding the dogs. So Dewey, let's hear from you, my man. Biggest accomplishment in your career thus far. I know you're still relatively young, but man, if you guys don't know, he was selling shoes a few years ago, and look where he's at now. He bought a house. He's getting engaged. He's the top producer. So, Dewey, tell us a little bit about some of your biggest accomplishments in business.
Biggest accomplishments in business. I mean, I knew the hustle was always there because, like, from any of the past jobs, like, I would notice that, like, the managers would always work me like a fucking dog. Like, dude, go take out the trash. I'm like, dude, you just told me to wash the dishes, and then now you're telling me to take out the trash when there's 5 other people in the room. Like, why do I need to take out the trash when there's 5 other people in the room? And so, like, I knew that, like, people saw the hustle, and that's why they would, like, work me, and I'm just willing to do it, right? And so it got me far really quickly because, the hustle's there. But then, like, once I find my self-worth, I'm like, nah, fuck this. Like, you're not going to work me like a dog when there's 5 other people in here. And so that caused me to change jobs like 2-3 times. But yeah, right before I got into real estate, like, I was making okay money selling shoes because not only was I working an hourly wage, but like the opportunities of like, buying stuff and reselling it, like I was able to provide for myself and Eleanor before I even got into real estate. And then, that like PK and what Jeff said, like, it just got so repetitive because I was working like 60-hour weeks just to put us into the raves or whatever. And so I literally had like nothing saved up because I would always blow all my money, and I just freaking said, screw it, I'm going full-time into real estate. And then, like, the biggest thing for me in getting into real estate was, I remember sitting in the booth at Climb and Kenny saying, all right, once agents, like, if they're not producing and they're not doing any better than they should be, we're dropping them. And I was like, oh shit, I don't want to be that motherfucker that's getting dropped. And so, like, I was like, fuck, get the mindset right. Do, like, showing up's half the battle. I literally tell everybody this because that's what I heard in, podcast somewhere. And so, showing up has gotten me a, long way. And so now it's just maintaining that.
That's right. And so being at Climb with Dewey in the early years, I would always be in the front conference room. It was a whole glass window. And him and Jen would always come into the office every single day. And being the sales manager, I want to know how things were going with them. You know, what are their numbers? What are they doing? What are they going to produce today? Every single day, he would come in, hey man, these are my numbers. This is what I'm doing today. All right, man, have a great day. Because of that fear, like he didn't want to get cut. He didn't want to be looked at as the person that wasn't doing shit. So every single day, and Jen said, she would hate seeing me in there. And this is pre us being in a relationship. She'd be like, fuck, I have to go in there and give him my update. But every single day, Dewey would come in there. Hey, here's my numbers for the day. I'm going to be here prospecting. Okay, cool. I got 5 homes I'm showing. Okay, cool. Every single day. But like
It's hella funny. I forgot all about that. I remember it got so repetitive that I'm like, oh crap, that's hella funny.
but it was like, I wanted a little pressure on them, right? I'm like, hey, I'm here, I'm the sales manager. What is my responsibility? I want to track sales. And so every single day would come in, but he was there. And at times he's like, he said before, he's like, there was times where I didn't even know what to do when I came to the office. I just knew that if I'm here, I'd probably be more successful if I'm not here. So let me just come to the office every single day. And so now he lives at the office, literally. So good stuff, dude. I really appreciate you sharing. Let's go over one more person.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I just say, Dewey and I started together and he has superseded. We met at a bar. Remember that, Dewey? We met at that bar.
I think it was a YPN event, right?
Yes, at the YPN event. And you were like, okay, let's do this. And I was like, but I can't quit. And you were like, I can.
I do remember that. It was because I was trying to balance it and be like, all right, on my days off from selling shoes, I'm gonna go do real estate. And then my days on, I'll see what I could do. But like my days on, I'm literally just standing there for like 10 hours a day doing nothing. So, but then that's the other thing I bring up, right? Like when I got into real estate, like there wasn't really a reason for me to fail because I was still living at home. My car payment was damn near dirt cheap. I didn't have rent to pay, mortgage to pay, like nothing. And so whereas other people have kids, Mauricio, he was commuting a whole hour to get out here. And so like seeing people succeed and all the hurdles that they have to face, like there's no reason that I couldn't or I shouldn't have succeeded. So
for sure. And man, really great job. And once again, let's give it up to Dewey for getting engaged.
Yay.
Super happy for you guys. Yeah, and next time you could have gone a little bigger with the event. Jeez Louise. I mean, it was a full production. It was really, really cool. So
hey, you talking that shit until Jen wants her ring.
Hey, she said 2 carats is the minimum. If I come to her with a carat and a half, she's like, can I think about it? So yeah, the benchmark is set really, really high. So yeah, but she did that shit to Eleanor 2 years ago. She had planted the seed of 2 carats, and so now that's just the standard and the norm. But hey, man, I am super happy for you guys.
Thank you.
Huge congratulations to you. Let's go over to Mishan. Mishan's relatively new to the group coaching, so Mishan, let's hear from you. So huge accomplishment, one of your most proudest moments in your business career. Let's hear it.
Hi, everybody. One of my biggest accomplishments for me in my business career wasn't in real estate, but in my work with Kaiser.
Yeah.
There was a moment when I reached that ceiling and I couldn't go any further because I didn't have my degree. So having 3 kids and working full time, I was like, I got to do this if I want to get any further. My goal was to hit 6 figures. And in order to do that, I had to go back to school. So I went back to school. I was what they say, hungry, and I was determined. And so while I was in school, I had 2 more babies. So I have a total of 5 now. But I did it. I graduated the same year that my oldest son graduated high school.
Girl, go ahead.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, I hit that 6-figure job.
Woo.
I was determined that I was going to do it for my family, for my retirement, because the plan was once I hit 20 years, which I'm at now with Kaiser, that I would exit and do real estate. I've had my license for 16 years. So that's my goal. I hit that first milestone. I got that degree. I got the 6 figures to retire from, and now I want to make that transition out of Kaiser full-time real estate.
You need a movie. You need a book or a movie.
That's right. So Michelle, how old's your oldest now and how old's your youngest?
My oldest, he's 21, and my youngest is 5.
Oh my goodness. Straight mother hustler right here.
Oh.
Right? She is the mother hustler. So I absolutely love this. And 5 kids, I have 1 and it's hard enough as it is, right? But hearing your story, God, what inspiration that is to all of us, right? If you are finding yourself not being able to do something or you're not doing something, like look at Michelle, like 5 kids, working full time, still got her license, committed to doing so, went back, got her degree. Shit, that's not easy. It's not easy doing it with 1 kid. So Michelle, I really am so happy that you're here and you shared. I didn't know exactly, right? All praise to you. I absolutely love that. And what a great story to share with your potential clients down the road. Like, this is what I'm going to do for you. And this is why I do this. And this is how I'm going to be in your corner. Man, that is, yeah, badass mama for sure. That is an incredible, incredible story. So I'm really, really glad that I asked.
And I just got my first fast listing last night.
What? Yes. All right, where is it at? Just so we all know.
It's in Pinot. It's a 3-bedroom condo in Pinot.
3-bedroom condo. Okay. Have you hit so is it live on the market?
No, they are doing some more preparation. They don't want it to go live until the 12th.
All right, cool. Well, keep us posted. Obviously, we have a ton of people. Do you know a range you're going to enter the market at?
Yes, am I allowed to say how much?
Well, you can give us a range. Yeah, if you want to keep it secret, it's cool.
Well, I don't know what's legal or not, but I guess the range is going to be 350 to 380.
For a 3-bedroom?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
There is a comparable that's sold in the area for around the same range.
Shit, that condo will sell for around 400,000, if not a little bit more, and you will have no problem selling that condo. So yeah, like Damian said, that thing will sell fast. So you guys, really, really good stuff today. You know what, I want to keep these sessions as organic as we possibly can. On Friday, we're going to talk a little bit more about production. We're going to talk a little bit about negotiations. The reason why is that we haven't spent too much time talking about negotiation. I'm all about, in this business, like mind, body, and soul, right? Because everything is all encompassing in this business. And we talk a lot about the mind and the mechanics and inspiration, because I feel that those are great reminders. Like, if you are not leaving this meeting inspired by what Michelle just said, right? Like we did something wrong. Like, you need to walk away and like hear from, damn, Patrick, okay, Kyle, I hear you. Wait, Dewey was selling shoes a couple years ago. Wait a minute. Like, Martinique got into the contract. She's working full time and she's got kids and they've got a business on the side. Okay, I see you. And hearing Jeff's story and PK and like all these stories, it should, some sense, move you to want to do more. And that's why we have these sessions. My goal is to each week leave you with something that is inspiring, leave you with something that says, you know what, I'm going to push myself more than I've pushed myself. If that means I can make 10 more calls a day, cool. If Kyle can make 1,000 a month, why can't I make 1,000 in a month, right? Do I get busy checking emails, right? Do I get busy reading in Slack and put my prospecting to the side, like, oh, I'll get to that. I spent 2 hours cleaning out my inbox, so I had 0 inbox. Cool, I like that. It's good to be fresh. But did I spend the time prospecting, or was I fearful, right? Because if you're fearful of making prospecting calls, I want to encourage each and every one of you, do that shit first. Do the hardest thing on your plate first and get it out of the way. That way you can cruise through the rest of your day. You can wrap up the things that are C priorities and then, close out the day. But do those hard things first. If making prospecting calls scares you, then just fucking dive in. I know it's cold. But your body will get used to it. And then you'll start to be like, oh, this is, I got this, right? It's like jumping in Lake Tahoe. You guys, have you ever swam in Lake Tahoe? Some of the most frigid water ever. But once you're in there and you're under the water and you see how clear it is and your body got used to it, you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad I hopped into this water. That's how you have to look at this, you guys. It is freezing at first, but you just got to start swimming, and your body will get used to it. So man, really good stuff. I'm going to go around the room. I'm going to hear some of your takeaways. We have some guests on the line today. Amber, hopefully you can chime in. I know you've been in a couple sessions. Amber, what are some of your takeaways from today's session? I gamble. Every time I call on Amber, I never hear from her. So Amber, hopefully you're there. Struck out again. Let's go to Christina. Christina, how about for you, takeaways from today's session? You're muted. She looks like she's on vacation.
Sorry, I am. I'm in LA. Hey. I mean, follow your dreams. A lot of your stories, I was able to relate to so many, but basically just follow your dreams and learn how to say no. Stop being a workhorse for people that don't appreciate you, and follow your heart. You guys are all so inspirational. And I'm really, really excited to join this team. So yes, thank you.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you being here. Enjoy your SoCal trip. Let's head over to our chef of the group, Sunny Wong. Sunny, what were some of your takeaways from today's sesh?
Well, I definitely found out everyone has their own kind of commitment to a certain passion. And, definitely I have my own as well. And it really helps us better ourselves. We go through our own battles, we go through our own struggles, and we come out more polished, more refined. And I notice how everyone here is they have so much enthusiasm for real estate. And not just that, they also have enthusiasm for their own hobbies, their own, love of their life, their children, their other jobs, their arts and crafts, would you say?
Yeah.
But yeah, I took a lot of that, and then I just see everyone's passion. I'm really happy about it. Ecstatic.
Good stuff. I love it. Let's hear from Lynn. Lynn, how about for you? All right, we'll go over to Ronnie. Ronnie, how about for you, my man?
I think just hearing everyone's story is very inspiring. And I think, everyone going through how to fix it, or not just fix it, but be better. I think that's very inspirational to me, because I know everyone has a different story, everyone has different experiences. And I think that's really important to hear, because I think we understand each other, especially we're a team, looking at each other with more respect in some sort of way. I mean, I respect all of you guys, but more respect with what you've gone through, how to overcome all those obstacles and to get where you guys are. It's very inspiring.
Man, I love it. And I appreciate you being here. And providing all your insight. And one more time, congratulations. Less than 2 weeks on the team, put over $1 million on the board. So really great job, Ronnie. Mr. Ryan, let's hear from you, my man. And yeah, bro, I am on a 7-day juice cleanse. I am ready. I'm rocking and rolling, bro. So Ryan, let's hear from you.
7 days is beastie. My takeaways is just, everyone has their story and their peak moments, and what they're trying to do to get back there. And I think trying to focus on your own story and your own catalyst, and just do whatever it takes by all means necessary to get back there. And we're all on our own journey, our own path. Don't measure yourself against anyone else. Just do what you got to do to really stay consistent. Like my boy Kyle. And we all have the ability to get those Home Snap Awards and be top 15, top 10% in the Bay Area. So what are we all going to do to get there? I think that's
right.
My takeaway.
And I had a question. Is the shirt behind you, is that a jacket that matches the shirt? I was curious about that.
Yo, man, I went to Express. I went on a little floral binge, man. So don't just ignore this.
Oh, I know. I thought that was the jacket that went with that. I was about to be like, Jerome, your daddy had a mushroom jacket? Yes. You got it coordinated. I love it, bro.
I got like 5 floral shirts, all different colors, man. I went a little out of control.
I know, hey, man. Dewey knows all about those Express deals. So let's
Bro, the end of season deals where you get the clearance item for extra like 40% off. I remember Elias was like, so now that you got this check, you want to spend it on a agent spotlight video? It's only $500. I was like, nah, I spent $500 at Express though.
He's like, I look good though. I look good. Let's go over to Janita. Janita, how about for you? Let's bring it home. Let's have you be the last one. Janita, takeaways from today's sesh.
Know your worth. Follow your passion. Take that risk. Phrase of the day for me is when you said millimeter shift. And honor your commitments to yourself.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that, you guys. And I really appreciate you guys sharing. I appreciate you showing up. Now, let's go. Like I said, take something that you learned from today and make it elevate your own game. Push yourself, because I will tell you what, and Kenny said this the other day, he's like, I'm seeing so much growth out of group coaching. And then the way that you guys communicate is getting better and improving, because we're hearing the collective, right? This is about hearing from everybody. And look at what we do in exactly 1 hour, right? Think about the moments that we had in this 1 hour. So Janita, really great final words. So you guys get out there and crush your week. We have great things coming. We really appreciate you. Thank you for everyone that stepped up and spoke today. We'll try to get to more people next time. Thank you to our guests that are here for their very first time. We'll see you guys soon, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. You guys get out there and crush it.
Elias, Jay
Yo.
here. Real quick, for those who may be wondering about how to get focus back and start saying no to other distractions, I put a link in the chat box from the author we mentioned on the previous coaching about flow states.
Okay.
So it's a free quiz. He gives a free 30-minute video, which I found amazingly useful. I'm not saying I've mastered it yet. It's just a process of getting focusing, learning that when you say no to people, you can actually help them. If you say no now, you may be helping them later.
Okay. Awesome, man. I love that. Thank you so much, Jay. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. You guys get out there and own your day. All right, guys, have a great one.